What's up, people? Thank you for tuning in to PWF Empire Live. Jay here along with Evan. Evan, how are you doing tonight?
I am... I don't know how I'm doing tonight. I am not exactly... I'm feeling how I had a feeling I would feel. There's a lot of feels in there, and none of them are that positive.
I am pissed off to the highest level. Not even the highest level of pisstivity. This level of pisstivity is undefined. It wasn't even known to man before tonight. Like, WWE made me discover a new level of pisstivity tonight. But we're going to get to it all because we are going to discuss Survivor Series, a show that went off air a few minutes ago. And now, as you saw with that fucking travesty of a picture to open up the show, I didn't even play the intro, or shit, I didn't hear an intro. The intro decided that it wasn't going to appear on the show tonight. It was just like, you know what, fuck this. We're going to take a moment of silence. We're going to force a moment of silence for Sheamus being the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But yeah, that's the situation. Sheamus is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and... we got to discuss this. Okay, let's go ahead and get started off with the ending of the show. We had Roman Reigns defeating Dean Ambrose in the finals of the Survivor Series tournament, and Roman Reigns becomes the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Triple H comes out, Roman Reigns spears him, and then Sheamus's, I don't even think his music hit. He just appeared and he bro-kicked Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns actually kicked out from that after Sheamus cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase. And some more bullshit happened. And yeah, that's what we have to deal with now. Sheamus as WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Now, here's the thing. It's not even the Roman Reigns fan in me that is pissed off. Or maybe it is. But that's only part of the issue that I have here. Sheamus is not a fucking character. He doesn't have a character at all. All he is a haircut. This guy is so fucking content with people hating his hair that he hasn't even taken the time to develop a character for the rest of his body. Every single thing that Sheamus is in WWE today is all connected to his haircut. You can see him go out there to the ring and he jumps on the mic anytime somebody says something about his hair, and he feeds off of that as if it's something good. That's perfectly fine wherever Sheamus is on the card in WWE, but as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, the #1 champion in the business, all you are is a friggin' haircut. You don't have any layers to your character besides that, and somehow, some way, WWE thought that this guy is the one who should walk away as WWE World Heavyweight Champion. All of the shit that's going on in WWE right now, their lack of star power, everybody is dropping like flies, and Sheamus is the person that you entrust to lead you through the minefield that you're currently in right now. I just don't understand it. How? Who? What? When? Where? Why? Like, what is this?
It's shit. This is ass. This is dumb. This is fucking stupid. That's what it is.
Literally, the worst option of all. I would have taken anyone. I said that this was Roman's time. Like, this guy has lost so many world championship matches. Well, shit, he won this one, but
This is gonna get ratings up, right, guys?
Yeah, it's gonna get ratings up. People are gonna be looking like, how the fuck did a haircut win a championship? This is the first time in WWE history, not even a whole person, a haircut won the championship.
Ronald McDonald's cousin won the championship.
There's almost nothing to say about this. Like, I'm pissed off, but like, what can I say? There's nothing to say. It's just, it's stupid and they're dumb, and Vince McMahon needs to get out of here, because you know he was responsible for this. Like, Triple H would have never booked this shit. He never would have. Because anyone would have a brain, like, with all the possibilities they could have gone with. There's so many possibilities for this match, and it ends like that. Like, that's the ending that I said no, they can't. Like, they wouldn't be that dumb. Like, not with the ratings going down, right?
And that's not even the worst part about it, because if you take into account a person like me, hell, Steven, you even have said it before, how big of a Shield fan that you are. This was the very first time in WWE that we got a one-on-one match between Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, and they fucking, like, you could look at the match even before Sheamus came out, or Mr. Mohawk came out, because that's his fucking name now, because that's all he is a fucking haircut. Mr. Mohawk, before he even came out, I was watching the match and I felt that something was off. Something was truly off about the match, and this is the same shit that they did at the Royal Rumble. They're willing to sacrifice a big match just for the ending, just for the way that the show is going to end. Like, they bullshitted their way through the Royal Rumble just to get Roman Reigns to win the match, and it's like you sacrifice all of the thrilling moments, all of the excitement, all of the intrigue that can be brought about through the match just for the ending. What the hell is the point of the matches anyway if you just say, oh, whatever, let's just throw some shit on so we can rush to the ending? Like, that's what I felt. The finish with Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns came completely out of nowhere, and I couldn't even enjoy the few minutes that I had with Roman Reigns as champion, because with the way that WWE booked the match, I knew that was not the end of it. I knew it wasn't the end of it. You have a big Shield fan sitting right here. I can't even enjoy the very first one-on-one match between Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose because of WWE's ridiculous ass booking, where the match is insignificant, but what happens after, oh, that's what's important. That's what we need to remember.
That also sucked, so. But yeah, the ending did come out of nowhere to Ambrose versus Reigns, which was a very disappointing match.
It was really only disappointing for me because it was so short. I actually thought the content of the match prior to that, like, really early finish, I think was actually going pretty well. But yeah, the finish was just too quick. I was like, that match wasn't even 15 minutes, you know? And this is the finals match. So, but I will say the Ambrose and Owens match prior to was really solid. That was probably my favorite overall in-ring match of the night. And I know that's kind of off topic of the fact that we're talking about the finish, because that really is going to override anything else that happened on this pay-per-view. Is the way that
there was the rest of a show. Other
stuff
happened tonight.
And I know we're probably gonna get into it and discuss it and all that, but I did want to just throw that in there for a second. But, again, my disappointment level will not be as high, or anger level as high, because this is what I saw coming. Like, it's not to say that I'm any less upset about it or annoyed by it or think, oh, this is fucking stupid. But I'm just not, like, I didn't get me to react. I didn't say, no, what the fuck? Like, I could see it. Like, I did. I said it on the preview show, and they did exactly what I had a feeling they were going to do. So that's why I said I'm feeling the way I thought I would feel about this. And it is severe disappointment, but it ends up, like, any of that anger that I may have felt was washed away because I could see it coming. I had that feeling that they were going to go the Sheamus route. I will admit one thing that was really fucking awesome was Roman Reigns spearing Triple H. That was fucking awesome. Now, obviously, what happened after that may override that, but that was a sick moment for me personally. I just thought that was great, especially it was just a huge fuck you to Triple H, and I thought that was really cool and really well executed. Sheamus.
And then what happened after was a big fuck you to everybody else.
Right. Well, see, they could have saved it. They could have saved it real quick. They could, because they had him kick out of the first brogue, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, now you have him spear him, even if that wouldn't make a ton of sense because he just got his head basically knocked off. But hey, this is wrestling and things happen that are strange. So they could have done that because it almost looked like they were going to go with that because Sheamus ended up, avoiding it. But I thought they were going to have Reigns spear him and not have an unsuccessful cash-in, whether it was him actually failing, not necessarily, like he would have rolled out of the ring and that would have been that, but Reigns would have still walked out with the title. I actually thought that might happen when he kicked out of the first brogue, but then they still gave us the dagger after all, but they could have saved it right then and there with that moment. I think, like I said before in the preview show, as much as I didn't want them to go down the road of having Sheamus win the championship here, it seemed like the one that WWE would go down. You know why? Because they always go to the knee-jerk reaction. It's like a formula at this point. Rollins gets out with an injury, and oh my God, we're panicking, I can't handle this, it's getting hot in here, I can't, the creative team just throws all their papers out the window, and, they're having a panic attack over the fact that Rollins got hurt. This could have been okay. You could have had Ambrose and Reigns either have a clean finish. You could have had the Sheamus tease the cash in, and Reigns ultimately walks away with it. You could have had one of the two turn heel. There were several options to take that were better than the one that they did, which was the worst one that they could have gone with. So, again, literally. I don't know why they always go with this knee-jerk reaction of we gotta cash in. That's the only way to solve it. Why? Why is that the only way to solve it when this is the same guy who earlier in the night lost in a kind of stupid way to in a traditional Survivor Series match, wasn't even on the go-home episode of Raw, and hasn't been built up at all to feel like a credible WWE champion. I like Sheamus as a talent, as an in-ring talent, and I really enjoyed when he first returned as a heel earlier this year. But ever since the first 4 or 5 weeks of that return, they completely ruined what could have been an awesome heel Sheamus. And if heel Sheamus was in the position he could be in right now, this cash-in would have zero negative effect for me. I wouldn't feel that bad about it at all. The reason I feel so much worse about it is because of the fact that he's not in that position to win the championship. And more importantly, because it was in a vacant title situation. You don't have to go that way. You can have a guy win the title. It's not, I just don't understand why every single time you have one of these moments potentially formulate, potentially come to fruition for a Roman Reigns character, you have to go that way. Daniel Bryan a couple years ago, this one here, and honestly, the Daniel Bryan one a couple years ago, I enjoyed because I thought it was going to lead to something cool. The product didn't go in a great direction for a few months, but then by the time we got to WrestleMania 30, we got one of the best moments in a long time. I'm not necessarily thinking this is going to go down that same path with the, silver lining, so to speak. I don't necessarily see that.
There's no way it can because there's nothing here. They built absolutely nothing.
They kind of built themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
They ruined Ambrose. They failed to capitalize on any momentum he could have had with some sort of twist. They ruined Reigns because no one really gives a shit about him reclaiming the title because we've seen him do this story. In fact, this was the accumulation of that story. We don't want to see it again.
This was supposed to be it.
Yeah. Sheamus has no heat. What is there now? We have right now the main event scene is reduced to a bunch of mid-carders, and they did that on their own, and fuck these guys. I almost feel like we're giving this too much attention because this is so stupid that all we should say about this is you guys are fucking dumb. Let's talk about some better thing. Let's talk about NXT or something. I'm upset even talking about it because there's nothing to say. And I'm also mad because my WWE Network shit on me the entire time, and I couldn't see any of the matches except for the two last ones, which were the Wyatts and the main event.
Oh yeah, we got to get to that Bray Wyatt and Undertaker match. I guess there were some other people in there too, but let's go ahead and start off way back at the beginning of the night where we saw the first semifinal match in this WWE Championship tournament. This was Roman Reigns.
Before you do, I guess I'm not going to be here because I don't have much to say about any of this. I didn't see any of this because, like I said, the network kept dropping on me, and I really wanted to see the finals, so I kind of made it work for the last two matches. But I kind of wish I'd get in because I'm mad now. But I guess I'll let you two guys take it over unless you want to hear any of my other thoughts on this. Actually, no, I just said I don't want to talk about it, so I'm not going to. Actually, do you want to start with the Wyatt match first so I could weigh in on the one that I saw? I don't know if that's a bit too disjointed for you.
My brain is all over the place. I need some stability right now, so
okay.
We're gonna save that later on.
All right. Well, I'll check out here now because I didn't see any of the rest of the show.
Okay, so how about you just stick around, jump in whenever.
Okay. Well, all right. So I'll still be here. If I have anything to say, I'll say it, but probably won't until the Wyatt match.
Okay, so Roman Reigns versus Alberto Del Rio. Of course, we know now Roman Reigns won this match. He actually won this with some nice evasive tactics. He did a little. Alberto Del Rio was coming down from the top rope. Roman Reigns did a little a barrel roll out of the way, and he hit Alberto Del Rio with a spear, and he pinned him, and he won. So yeah, this first match here, Roman Reigns versus Alberto Del Rio.
Well, for me, it was okay. I mean, I knew Reigns was winning. Like, you just knew Reigns was winning. I mean, it was quite obvious. If Del Rio won, I was going to be very surprised. So, for me, this was an alright match. It was actually pretty good in terms of the in-ring quality of it, but what it took away for me was the fact that it was quite obvious that Reigns was going to win. So it takes away any, like, shock value or, oh, well, I'm not sure who's going to win. Whereas the Ambrose and Owens match, I felt like, well, Owens could possibly win this match. I totally could see it. They could go down that route. So for me, that was a little more up in the air, whereas this one was not.
See, I thought that the drama that played out in this match, like, I guess Alberto Del Rio positioning himself as a threat to Roman Reigns, it was enough for me to be hooked onto the match. It wasn't enough for me to forget that Roman Reigns was going to win this match, but it was enough for me to say that I actually did enjoy the match.
Yeah,
so I think
again,
they did a good job in that regard.
Yeah, I'm with you there because they did tell us a story in this match. They did give us something. It's not like the match had no substance. It was just complete, boring. I don't care. But again, because it was just that clear to me that Reigns was going to win it hurt my ability to see past that. And I think that's what hurt the match overall for me. But again, like I said, the in-ring stuff that they gave me was fine. I actually liked when Del Rio put on the cross arm breaker, and they had a couple of nice near falls in there as well. So it's not like this match was just one-sided or anything. That's not what I'm saying.
What were some good moments in this match? Of course, I really liked the ending of this match. I'm trying to think of some other things. There was this one moment where Roman Reigns was up on the top rope, and it looked as if he was going to superplex Alberto Del Rio, and in that moment, I forgot that was a friggin' setup for Alberto Del Rio's finisher. I was like, God damn, I really wanted to see him hit that superplex, but it was too good to be true. Too good to be true. But I do have to say I did enjoy this match. It was all for naught when everything was said and done in the night. But yeah, let's move on to the next match here, the semifinals match. This was Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens. And I have to give it up to both guys, and especially the booking team on this one, because Evan, what you were talking about with like that suspension of disbelief, during this match, it was so good and so well booked to the point where I forgot that my thought was it was going to be Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns in the finals. Like, in some weird way in my mind, it shut out the possibility of Dean Ambrose winning. And I was looking at that match like, oh, Kevin Owens has got this in the bag. Then he goes for the pop-up powerbomb, but Dean Ambrose reverses. And the ending sequence of that match was friggin' awesome. And Dean Ambrose hits him with the dirty deeds and pins him. I was like, oh shit, Dean Ambrose just won? Wait a minute. I thought Dean Ambrose was going to win before the show, but that just goes to show how good of a job that they did in making me forget about that. So I totally see what you're saying in this case.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing about this match that really made it stick out of the two. And honestly, they were just starting to kind of overuse the Dean Ambrose clothesline through the ropes thing at the very end. And I was glad that they didn't do it more than those couple of times, because I feel like a lot of Ambrose matches, that's one knock on Ambrose matches for me, is that he gets whipped off the ropes and goes through them and then goes for the clothesline or misses it. I feel like they do that spot so much in his matches lately. But here, at least the clothesline was actually an effective spot because it looked like Owens was going to go for the pop-up powerbomb. And yeah, there were some good moments from both guys in this match. And Owens, again, being great, away from just the match itself, also being able to speak to the crowd loudly enough that you can actually hear him, and it's amazing. He's got that kind of like Bubba Ray, or especially Bully Ray, type of demeanor as a heel, where he can literally talk to you without a microphone and you can still hear what he's saying. And he's just a great heel, and I think he always carries himself so well.
One of the best non-mic workers in WWE. That's a little weird thing. Like, I look at people who talk like during matches and things like that, like trash talk. I love that. Like, Mark Henry does it. Roman Reigns doesn't do it often, but when he does do it, it's fucking amazing. And Kevin Owens does it too. I love when people do stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah. That's part of what makes Owens such a good heel, and his ability to control the pace of a match in such an effective way makes him that much more fun to watch. Like, he can slow things down just like a heel should. He's methodical, and I like that. But then when the match quickens, he falls right into place with it, and that's something that makes Kevin Owens really stand out. So this was a great match, and again, I know we talked about some of this being all for naught, but I still have this match in my mind. This was still a good one for me, so it's not completely out. I understand that the finish of the show does obviously have a huge impact on the rest of it because these matches were part of the tournament, but I still this match still sticks out to me as probably the most enjoyable in-ring action of the night, mainly because of the fact that it was booked well start to finish. I think Ambrose versus Reigns could have been on that level if the finish didn't come out of left field so much. Like, it was just too quick of a finish, but otherwise that match was good too, and I know we're going to talk more in depth about it, but this one here, Owens and Ambrose, really good stuff. I want to see these guys wrestle more, and I know somebody in the chat had said something about them going for the IC title or something like that, and I know we've talked about it on the show.
Sense.
It would be a great idea to have them go for the IC title. I actually hope they do at TLC. I hope that's going to be an IC title feud going forward, because I think these two guys have more to tell us in the ring. This was, to me, like an opening to what we can see from these two guys.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. We got some breaking news here. Mr. Steven, I see this tweet here. This show sucks so much I might actually go watch Lucha Underground. Well, if this had to happen to get you to watch Lucha Underground, I'll accept it. Wait, no.
It's so bad.
I'm a big Roman Reigns fan, though, so...
No, I like Roman Reigns, but I'm not interested in him right now. Like, what? There's no interest in him. Do I want to see him face Sheamus? No, absolutely not. I don't care.
Yeah, we got to talk about that a lot more, because this is just, But speaking of Roman Reigns,
this is actually worse than the reaction Reigns would have gotten if he just kind of steamrolled Ambrose without any resistance. Because at least then it would have just been like, he would have gotten major boos, and you could actually turn that into something. Now it's just like no one gives a shit. Okay.
Okay, so speaking of Roman Reigns, I want to go to a comment from Kyler in the chat. He was talking about the Roman Reigns match, because I was trying to remember the moments of the match that I really like. Okay, I think Alberto Del Rio was in there too. Yeah, the Roman Reigns and Alberto Del Rio match. I was thinking of moments that I liked about the match. The cross arm breaker, where Roman Reigns had picked Del Rio up and like had him hanging over the ropes. I really like that too, and that shows the sacrifice that Roman Reigns was willing to take, because he knew that move was going to hurt much more with Alberto hanging over the ropes, but it's like that's just 5 seconds more pain before Alberto Del Rio had to break the hold. So I thought that was pretty nice too. So what do we have next here on Survivor Series? This was a traditional Survivor Series match. The Usos, Ryback, and the Lucha Dragons versus New Day, Sheamus, and King Barrett. New Day had a pretty awesome entrance, and they were talking a lot of trash, having a lot of fun, and then Sheamus had to jump in. I forgot what he said, but I know he just fucked up the whole vibe, and I knew then. I was like, there Sheamus goes, fucking up all of our good vibes. Hopefully this is the last time that he does that tonight, and
No,
yeah.
If he can ruin the vibes of the New Day, he can ruin the vibes of every day.
Yeah, I don't even know what's more egregious, him fucking up the World Championship match or messing with the flow of New Day, because both of those are like, both of those are capital offenses. But Yeah, we had this match, and during this match, it was a Big E. He got eliminated from the match, and apparently New Day gave as much of a fuck about Sheamus as the rest of us do, because Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, even though they were technically still in the match, they take Big E to the back and walk away and leave Sheamus as the sole survivor of his team. And then you had on the other side, I think it was Ryback was still there, one of the Lucha Dragons, one of the Usos. I think that was it. Whichever ones, doesn't really matter, because after New Day left, that was basically WWE telling everybody, you don't have to care anymore. Like, this is nothing to see here. Move along, folks. So, yeah, I think the faces won, Ryback and the other guys. But, yeah, this was a match. This was a match. Anything, Evan?
No. Is there anything about this match that there is to talk about? I mean, talk about thrown together last second. The best part of this was the New Day, obviously, before the match and during, with the amazing Big E, as always, and actually all three of them were just fantastic. And Xavier Woods with that James Brown, Elvis Presley hairstyle, that was fucking unbelievable.
Fried, dyed, and laid to the side.
Woo! Unbelievable, man. Yeah, that was good shit. But other than the New Day, really, was there much to talk about here? There's so much talent in this match, too. I think that's more of what made me just, like, shake my head, because I'm thinking, like, the Usos are good, Lucha Dragons are good, Ryback's good, New Day's amazing, and Sheamus and Barrett are both good, but are booked like crap. Like, what is going on? Like, if anything, this match just showed me how there are so many great talents in WWE that are just in no man's land, and it was like a 5-on-5 that had nothing on the line. There was no reason to really, like, care extensively about this. There was no build up to it. Michael Cole himself earlier in the night is like, oh, well, you know, we have a 5-on-5 plan for tonight, but we don't know who the hell's in it. Like, I mean, that right there is more than enough for me to know that this match is just not important. And it's too bad, because the match itself wasn't bad. The in-ring quality wasn't bad. But how do you get into that? How do you sit there and say, yeah, this is compelling stuff? Again, this is where, like, that whole, you need to have some fucking storytelling to actually make the match compelling. And in-ring stuff can't alone make this thing work. And I think this was proof of that. Got to build it up.
And look how Sheamus was in this match and also in the main event. Like, that should tell you that we live right now in an age of mid-carders. There are no main eventers. There's none right now. There are none.
Great point.
Roman Reigns could have been one, but no, they don't want to make Roman Reigns a main eventer, or Ambrose, or Kevin Owens, or Cesaro, or anyone really. So.
How much time we got? We got a whole list to go down there. But yeah, that was a great point that you just brought up there, Steven. Like, everybody looks at Sheamus in this match here, and he fits right in. Nobody makes any stink about it at all, because that's where he fits. But all of a sudden, because he has the WWE or the Money in the Bank briefcase, that's what makes him a main eventer. That's what makes him a champion. I'm
just so tired of this Money in the Bank bullshit. Like, there's so many things I'm just annoyed by. I'm not even sure which one annoys me most. Like, first of all, there's I'm sorry for going back to this. First of all, there's the lack of a swerve. Nothing happened in the main event. Second, they did this thing that they always do, is they have the guy win the title for 1 minute before someone cashes in. How many times has this happened before? We've seen this. I'm so frustrated. Like, there are no words. It's just, it's like Evan said. It's just paint by numbers bullshit. They think this still works. The Money in the Bank is a dead concept. Sheamus is dead. Roman Reigns they just killed. I'm ranting, and I'm interrupting the flow of the show. So please continue.
I mean, all we're going to do is rant, too, so you're more than welcome to join in, man.
I mean, it's weird, too, because you look at last year's traditional Survivor Series match and how amazing that was, and how that there was something on the line There's something
What
mattered
happened
here.
in that one? I don't remember. Oh,
that was
the
when
one with Sting?
that was Sting. Yeah.
Sting,
Right.
yep.
That one was
the
pretty
authority
good,
was
yeah.
gone. Yeah. Again, there was something on the line. You knew that something was going to happen. Like, the authority was either going to be gone or they were going to hang around, and they're the power of WWE. So you at least felt like, oh shit, something's going to happen here. And then Sting comes out, and you get a pretty amazing finish. So, I mean, compared to this year, the traditional Survivor Series match is a whole hell of a lot better than this year. And you had one in the pre-show too that was,
That's another thing. You said something was on the line, but something really wasn't on the line because the authority just came back. Like, how many weeks was it after? Like a month?
Right, that's true. Ultimately, yeah, there wasn't. But at that time, there was. At least at the moment of the match, there was something there. And, I mean, yeah, now in hindsight, you know that they came back like 6 weeks later or less. But still, at least there was. In this case, it was just random 5 guys versus a random 5 guys. I would have rather just seen the Usos versus New Day for the tag titles or something. Like, give us something that...
I get your point. I'm just saying, like, the WWE keeps conditioning us to not believe them. They have no credibility whatsoever, because whenever they do something that looks like it has stakes, it really doesn't. Like, what you just mentioned, yeah, it had stakes, but then they came back. This time... we had a tournament that lasted like 4 weeks and completely undermined the entire tournament by having some guy who wasn't even in the tournament just win the whole thing. So,
oh no,
good job.
I think he actually was in the tournament.
Was he in the tournament?
Lost.
Okay. Well, even worse then. So
yes.
So next time there's a tournament, I'll just remember, don't give a shit about the results. Just don't even watch it because it's not gonna matter.
Well, yeah, and I think you raise a great point, too, and I think that it kind of, the two things are, even though they are different and they're kind of parallel to one another, they actually both make sense, and I take from both when I talk about this, because in one way it's like, yeah, Sheamus lost in the first round to Cesaro, like, I mean... and this is the guy who walked away with the championship by the end of the night. And this is the same guy who lost in this traditional Survivor Series match with nothing on the line. So, I do want there to be stuff on the line. But you're right. Yeah, they do. They take the stakes away later on. So you're like, so what was the point of that big match that just happened a month ago? So, like, in hindsight, you look back on it and you say, well, that didn't fucking matter. But at least at the point that I'm only making is that at least at that time you had something to hang on to. Like, with this, you didn't even have that. So you're not even...
yeah, you're right.
You're not even emotionally invested.
Like, everything is just reminding me of how annoyed I am with what happened, so it's not your fault. Your point is completely valid.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, like, the continuity level and the rapid knee-jerk reactions and the changing of the script all the time, that's what comes into play. Like, it's almost like they were scratching their heads earlier this week and were like, something's missing on this card. And they're like, oh, wait. We forgot to book a traditional Survivor Series match. Let's just throw 5 versus 5, like you 5 and you 5. And I'm not saying there wasn't any build up to it because we've seen Ryback and the Usos against the New Day on Raw. I'm not saying like there was zero build to it at all, but there was never any indication that it was going to lead to that. And even if it does lead to that, there's like nothing on the line. It's not like, oh, well, if the Usos team wins, then they get a tag title shot. Like there's nothing predicated in that. So that's what made it just really not go.
Also,
anywhere for me.
Can anyone tell me why the Dudley Boys just vanished off the face of the planet? Like, they're on the pre-show now. They're fighting the Ascension. What the hell is going on with these guys? Actually, for a while, I thought they had left because I didn't see them for like 2 weeks before they fought the Ascension. Why were the Dudleys on the pre-show? With R-Truth. Was it R-Truth? I know Titus O'Neil was in there.
I didn't even watch, so I don't know. There's so many questions about why this happened or what the hell did this mean? Who booked this? Ugh.
It's Vince. I think that the next thing we need to do is like... I love Vince McMahon. I always will, but this guy needs to go. Like, it's time. This guy he doesn't have it anymore. He really doesn't. He can't run this show. Okay, go on. Who's next? Charlotte? Is that the next one?
Yeah, Charlotte and Paige for the Divas Championship. Apparently, it matters now. I know they told us on Monday it didn't matter. Friendship is what mattered. But, yeah, they were fighting over a title here at Survivor Series, and Charlotte makes her challenger, Paige, tap out, and she retains the championship. Now, I did say that if this match started out with a lockup, that I was going to lose my friggin' mind, because for them to do what they did on Monday and not follow through with it in the way that they booked the match, that would be friggin' stupid. But, you know, I do have to say that the match didn't start with a lockup, but what it actually started with wasn't much better, because you would think that with all of the fire and intensity that Charlotte had on Monday, that would kind of follow through to the match on Sunday. The reason why they were there, to sign the damn contract. Like, you would think that she would start off this match angry, you know, ready to kick Paige's ass, but I didn't get that feeling. Like, they were out there wrestling. And as far as the wrestling is concerned, it was good, but here's the problem. You set expectations on a completely different level, and I didn't feel as if that match lived up to the expectations. I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, well, the match, it was better than the average Divas match, and I'm okay with that, because if that was the case, why the hell did you do what you did on Monday? Because that wasn't an average Divas segment, so why should we get a just above average match? Like, I expected more out of Paige and Charlotte, and I didn't get that. It was a terrible follow-through to what happened on Monday.
Yeah, it was, and it didn't really add anything to a story that kind of got told to us in one segment. You know, it was one of those things where that segment had some positive things to it. Like I said, you know, on the preview show, it had effective moments and ineffective moments. And, you know, you don't follow that up with a feeling of aggression. It didn't feel like a personal fight. You know, you're trying to tell us that these two were friends for all this time and all that other stuff. And I didn't get any of that in this. I didn't get storytelling. I got a decent Divas match. It wasn't a bad in-ring match, but I didn't get any of that feeling of urgency from Charlotte, or a whole lot of... a few moments of heelish moments from Paige, though. I will say Paige has carried herself definitely better than Charlotte has. There's something about Charlotte that just isn't connecting with me in the way that I wanted to, because I think she's such a good wrestler. But
I totally see where you're coming from there.
She's just because she's crying on Raw. That's why.
And she's like robotic in a lot of what she says too. It's like I just like in her promo on Raw, and then I don't know, like her in ring is just very good, but there's just something missing.
You know what the problem is? When she was down in NXT, they didn't give a damn whether she was a face or heel. She went out there and she told people that she was born better. This was natural selection. She was born and destined to be a champion since birth. And she was arrogant. She was cocky. And she said, either you like me or you don't. I don't give a damn. And that was her character. But on main roster, they're trying so hard to force us to be sympathetic towards her. And I don't understand. What the hell is the point of developmental if you get yourself into a point where you see something that's working and you don't even try to apply that on a larger scale? You completely upend her character and turn her into something that she hasn't been. Something that it's unproven if she can even pull it off. And shit, based off of the months that she's been on the main roster, it ain't unproven anymore. We know she can't. She can't.
That's a good point. I've been thinking that lately too. What is the point of NXT? Because nothing carries over. It's because it's run by two different companies essentially. And it's all I know. It's all WWE. But like as far as who's actually in charge, it's two different worlds, and they're barely connected at this point, because none of it transfers over seemingly. It doesn't, and it's a waste of. I don't know what it's a waste of, because it's nice when it's on NXT, but it just like the momentum that they gather, it just goes flat when they go to the main roster.
Yeah, it's so much talent that doesn't get translated. We don't get to see that potential that we see in NXT on the main roster. We don't get that evidence of how great they are, and it's too bad, because if you're somebody who only watches Raw or SmackDown or pay-per-views, whatever, you're only a main roster person, like you don't have the network, you don't watch the NXT specials, you wouldn't know how good these people are. You wouldn't. You won't. You aren't going to get that evidence. And there's a whole hell of a lot more people who watch the main stuff than watch NXT. It's just the way it is. So you got a lot less people who now understand how great these women are. They think it's just more divas. then rather than thinking, oh, these are special people. These are definitely women who are much better than the previous generation of divas. You're not getting that impression. And it's funny, I'm like thinking to myself, man, where's Sasha Banks at? And I ended up, my only reaction to this match on Twitter was literally just retweeting a picture of Sasha Banks because she looked fine. And I wanted to retweet a photo of her. And once again, just say that this woman is the best thing in women's wrestling, not what's going on right now. And it's too bad because Paige and Charlotte are both very talented. They are both very good and deserve to be, actually booked that way. It's like they're great, but they're just not getting what they deserve to have. And it's too bad here because this match wasn't a complete waste. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't anything special. There's nothing that stood out about it. And the finish with the tap out was kind of awkward too. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I expected Charlotte to win. It was pretty much everything I expected. And then after this week, when it came out that the Flair family hadn't approved of what was said on Raw, which we didn't know at the time that we did the preview show. So I feel like a lot of people were like, oh, you guys are saying this and that, and they didn't even approve of it. It's like, wait, hold on, guys. Like, we didn't know that at the time we filmed the show on Monday night. That hadn't come out yet. So we're sitting here, well, the Flair family probably approved. Like, we weren't trying to use that as a cop-out. We were using that as a reason for why it probably happened. And clearly, if they didn't approve of it, then that's a different story. So since that happened, I think WWE wanted to play it extra safe here on Sunday night and have Charlotte retain. I think there was no way Paige was going to win once that came out, that it wasn't even approved by the Flair family and that they were upset about it. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them for being upset when you're exploiting the death of one of your family members on TV to get heel heat without even consenting with the family. I'd be pretty damn pissed if it was me. So I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I kind of defended that on Monday, and I take it all back because I thought that this company would actually consult the people who might be affected by it. And I thought, okay, well, it's a wrestling family. Maybe it's not the worst thing to involve a deceased member of a wrestling family. He wasn't a wrestler, right? But as far as I know, but still, like, he knows it's the business, whatever. So I thought, okay, fine, whatever. If you contacted everyone, it's fine. It was pretty good heat, but like, who the hell does something like that? And that's not even the most appalling thing that happened in that incident. The most appalling thing is that they threw Charlotte under the bus for it, and they tried to pin it on her. Like, what the fuck? They tried to say, yeah, it was her idea. So they're not just exploiting the dead Flair, they're exploiting the one that's under contract by basically bullying her into doing an angle that she probably didn't want to do. And maybe that's wrong. Maybe she did want to do it, but I highly doubt that, given what we know now. And then they blame it on her.
I think Reed Flair, he was a wrestler, or at least was pursuing that road. It's kind of like that all ties into Charlotte, like the fact that he's not alive to pursue his dream. That kind of led her into pursuing it herself. But speaking of Charlotte, like, after all that happened on Monday, I didn't even feel like she won anything after she beat Paige. Like, that did not... I didn't feel like she overcame some obstacle or anything like that, because it's like WWE, they do the segment on Monday, and it's like, you couldn't figure out that was a bad idea before that? And then they have to start, throwing up all of these roadblocks and doing damage control after Monday, and they didn't, when they did the video package on the show, they didn't even replay Paige's words about Reed Flair. So it's like, you do that, do damage control, and then the match can't even live up to the intensity that moment brought, because you didn't realize beforehand that it was a bad idea. Now, after you see all of the backlash and stuff like that, that's when it's like, okay, well, yeah, we can't go through with this now. It's too late now. Shit, what are you gonna do? Go back and retcon it? We all saw it. And you wanted us to see it because you put it in the friggin' main event of the night. But that's it there. Moving on. Dolph Ziggler versus Tyler Breeze. This was probably one of the only matches on the show. No, I can't say that. This was, I can't say I wasn't pissed off by this match. I guess that's worth something on especially with this card tonight. Dolph Ziggler versus Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze wins with the unprettier Christian's old move there. I think Christian renamed it the Kill Switch, but the unprettier, like, that fits so well with Tyler Breeze. And I like that. That was a nice little twist there.
Well, the name fits, but does the move fit? I don't know.
Yeah, because it's basically him driving the person's face into the mat and to make them not pretty. You know, unpretty. So,
well,
I
not
think
only
it
that,
works.
but I really think Tyler Breeze looks like young Christian anyway. He really does. Like, it's kind of crazy to me. Like, I remember thinking that one day. I'm like, man, he actually reminds me of young Christian when he had longer hair and everything. But not in like the gimmick necessarily, but just the look wise, to a little bit. Not like he's not like a spitting image of him or anything like that. But yeah, this match had some good things to it. I love that Tyler Breeze went over. I really think that was the necessary thing to happen here. I guess Michael Cole said something along the lines of how it could catapult his career or something. That was kind of a little bit of a stretch there.
That was just a little bit.
Just
that was some hilarious comedy from Michael Cole. Oh,
yes.
This win over Dolph Ziggler is gonna send Tyler Breeze's career into orbit.
Yeah, he's the next fucking Hogan. Like,
maybe he. Who?
Oh, wait, what?
I don't know.
I don't know who that is either. I don't even know where that name came from. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I guess Michael Cole was thinking like this was last year. I don't know. He forgot what year it was, but yeah, like.
Well, I mean, I think you could argue that there was never really a year where Ziggler was that big of a deal, but.
Okay.
And I've been an advocate for Ziggler. I like Dolph Ziggler, but. Again, the guy, I will say, I'll give you this one, Jay. Last year, he was a hell of a lot more relevant than he is right now. 100%. No question in my mind. And I still like Ziggler. I still like him in the ring. I still enjoy what he does. It's just the character is at probably an all-time low right now, which is a shame. And I think that window has passed. What is there left now to do with this guy? It's like... What is there now? I mean, it's just unfortunate, but I think he's always going to be just a guy who kind of floats around the mid-card.
And he just signed a contract for a few more years, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
You're right. Well, there's nothing left for this guy. There really isn't.
Yeah, the window is just passed, and it's not to shit on him because again, like I said, I'm a fan of his, but it's just what do you do with this guy from here on out? I will say this much: him and Tyler Breeze. As a match, as a feud, is great, but I don't think the build-up to this really matched any type of feel of, oh, yeah, Breeze and Ziggler, this is a big deal. Like, I think this could have been a much bigger feud, and it just wasn't built all that damn well. There was, the beginnings were there, but they didn't continue to follow through with it, which was really a shame. But I don't think this match was too bad, but it's not one that I feel is very memorable. I'm not sitting there like, yup, I gotta watch that one again. Like, it's just not one of those matches. And I'm not saying that a lot of matches in the middle of a card are gonna be that way anyway, but you want to have at least a few things that are distinct and stick out and make it something that is at least memorable enough. And I don't really feel like I got a whole lot out of this match other than being glad that Tyler Breeze got a win at a Big Four pay-per-view. But it certainly isn't going to catapult his career in and of itself. I'm not saying he still can't be a star, but this win isn't going to catapult him. I think that was fucking ridiculous to say.
Well, it's fitting because Tyler Breeze is the next Dolph Ziggler.
Yes. Yes. Here we go. In the revolving door. Oh.
Like, he's going to be this cocky heel for a bit. Eventually, he's going to turn babyface because he's just too good in the ring. And then he will just be the next Dolph Ziggler. In fact, maybe it would benefit... Maybe it would benefit them to go into a tag team, actually. That might be...
That ceiling is so low he can't even stand up. The next Dolph Ziggler. Wow.
Well, to be fair, it's not that low. Dolph Ziggler's had a pretty good career. I mean, he hasn't gotten where he's wanted to, but as far as careers go, I mean, he's a successful wrestler. You know,
a successful guy in mid-card purgatory. Like, Dolph Ziggler is the face of mid-card purgatory.
No, yeah, I agree. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to undermine what he's accomplished because he has done quite a bit.
Okay.
Just from a wrestler's perspective, like if you want to go to any guy in the Indies, say you want Dolph Ziggler's career, hey, that's a pretty good career right there.
Alrighty, let's go on and move to this Brothers of Destruction match. The Undertaker and Kane versus the Wyatt family. And I believe that this was 25 years to the day that the Undertaker debuted in WWE. And honestly, I didn't even have to see this match. All I needed was the Undertaker's entrance and the video packages that they were airing of the Undertaker. That guy is just presence personified. When you want to talk about presence and star power and like that intangible aura, this guy is all of that to a friggin' T. He captivates me just by him walking, just seeing him move. It's just so captivating. And man, the career that he's had and the fact that 25 years to the day and he's still here, amazing. Nothing short of amazing. So yeah, great 25 years for the Undertaker. Maybe a few in there that it's like, yeah, because I was looking at that thing that they did on the Titantron where they were showing all of the incarnations of the Undertaker. I was like, damn, why did they have to put the American Badass in there? Like, speaking of retconning stuff, can we go back and like retcon that? But yeah, let's move on to this match. I'd honestly rather talk about the entrance than the match, though, because this was an exhibition match. That's what this was. This was a way to get The Undertaker on the card on his 25th anniversary and just for people to see The Undertaker. And yeah, because yeah, they went in there and they ran the train on the Wyatt family. I believe it was Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt. And Eric Rowan, they chokeslammed his ass before the match even started, and he headed to the back, and I thought that was amazing. Like, this match was going to get a pass from me no matter what. Like, I didn't give a damn what happened in the match. The fact that they eliminated Eric Rowan to the point where he wasn't going to be a factor at all, I was, love that.
It was a brave and courageous moment from Eric Rowan. I give him all the credit in the world for going in there and saying, you know what? Somebody's got to take a stand. I'm going to show these guys that I'm the next main eventer, and I loved it. I loved his effort. And
that's
I
your
know,
story, and you're sticking to it, huh?
That was the worst part of the show, actually. Like, why did they get rid of Eric Rowan? That was worse than anything.
Because they were looking out for me. That's why.
No, they were setting up his stairs match with Kane next month at TLC. That's what they were setting up for. I promise you that. Okay. They got a stairs match every year for Eric Rowan. I can't wait to see. Either that or he's going to avenge the loss against Big Show. And he's just going to come out with steel stairs tomorrow night, lift them above his head, and say, I want Big Show. And
those 30,000-pound steel stairs.
Yeah, and the match is made. It's made. It's a match made in heaven. That was the greatest exhibition of talent I've ever seen in wrestling. So, can't wait for Eric Rowan versus Big Show 2 in a stairs match.
That's a dream match, bro.
So yeah, this match for me was basically just Undertaker and Kane getting in there, or Undertaker primarily getting in there, hitting his spots just so people can see him, and the Wyatt family loses with no fanfare.
Yeah, it's weird. I wouldn't have minded that. In fact, I don't mind it. I don't care because Luke Harper took the fall. The thing that really bothers me is that this was the accumulation of the feud that just happened, which was a pretty epic feud at a lot of segments. Like, there was some pretty good stuff here. So why did they give this match, if they just wanted it to be an exhibition match, why did they give it that build-up? Why couldn't they just do something like what they do with Brock Lesnar when they want to have him be in an exhibition match? They just announce the match and they just have it. Why couldn't you just have done... Yeah, the Brothers of Destruction are facing Luke Harper and Eric Rowan at Survivor Series. But they got involved, like, Bray Wyatt in it, and this whole, like, you take their souls thing, and it's just a huge letdown because when Bray Wyatt came out after Brock Lesnar destroyed Taker at the last show, I was really excited. I was like, wow, holy shit. That was a pretty epic moment right there when they just carried him away after that. But now it's just all for this. I don't know, it's just... I'm not upset at this. I don't think it kills Bray Wyatt, as Evan, you might argue. I'm not sure, because you said this was his last chance. I don't think it kills Bray Wyatt, but I just think it's kind of disappointing that they gave us this dramatic build-up for what amounted to basically a house show match.
Well, I can't say I'm disappointed because, I washed my hands of Bray Wyatt. Oh, my bad. I just summoned lightning when I did like that. I meant to say I washed my hands with Bray Wyatt, but, I don't know if you guys heard, the thunder and lightning in the back, but, yeah. I'm done with them already, so I made my peace.
Right, yeah, you've come to your conclusion already. That's fair. And, for me, I've been saying it, it is kind of a strike 3 year out type of deal for the Wyatts, and I am not surprised at all that they lost this match. In fact, it would have surprised me if they had won this match. I would have been absolutely surprised. Yeah, I think this match it had its fun moment of kind of parading the greatness of The Undertaker, and I like that. I did like that concept, both in the entrance and in the match. I did like that concept, but what it also showed me was that the Wyatt family are not to be taken seriously anytime soon. And it's just a shame because I really like Bray Wyatt, and I really like the Wyatt family. I love the concept, but it's clear that they have absolutely no clue what they could do with this group. Like, what they could do. Not to say that, like, the potential hasn't always been there, but I just think that they really don't understand right here and right now that this group could be like one of the best things you have going because it's different. It's out there. And whether you incorporate the supernatural or not in this, it doesn't have to even be there, and you can still have an amazing group. That doesn't make or break the Wyatts. It's the supernatural stuff. Even if they're a cult, that's still awesome. It's still different. It still sticks out. You have scary-looking guys who could make a difference in this company and do something and be a cool enemy type of group. And, it's like I think of Braun Strowman and how cool it was when he first came on TV a few months back, and I was like, man, this is pretty cool. Like, this guy could actually be something, and he just gets chokeslammed through through the announce table. Like, you just know that he was just there to just be another guy who falls at the feet of somebody else. Like, it's like this whole Wyatt family thing is just like, it's just hard to take them seriously going forward ever now. Like, this is a strike 3 for me. Like, it was hard to take them seriously since WrestleMania 30. I'm not going to lie. Although there have been good moments thrown in between, basically it's the same thing. It's rinse, recycle, repeat. There was something that was awesome, some awesome, meme type of picture that was on Twitter that it just, and I retweeted it because it resonated so well. It was like, build up the feud, like a random attack, do a bunch of talking to explain your actions, lose the feud, repeat, and it's the same type of shit over and over again that you see with Wyatt, and it has been that way. This is nothing new. It's old hat. We have seen this multiple times now with the Wyatts losing in a big match situation. So to think that they were going to win this would have been of a surprise anyway. They weren't going to win this. It just wasn't going to happen. And it's too bad that they build all these feuds, like even the one with Undertaker earlier this year at WrestleMania, and then this one here. They do all the work and all the effects, and they take the guys out, they carry them out like they're sacrificing them or taking their souls and doing all this crazy shit. It's awesome stuff, but then they never actually do anything. It's like that whole actions speak louder than words thing. Like, they give you the words in a beautiful gift wrapped, great looking box, but then they don't have any actions to back that stuff up. The box is fucking empty, and there's nothing to take away from it. And that's where the Wyatts just aren't there. They aren't anything. And it's like, if wins and losses are supposed to matter, although it doesn't seem like they do very much these days, they need to win some goddamn matches to be taken seriously. Plain and simple. That is the truth of the Wyatts, and it's unfortunate. I'm not saying I'll never, ever buy them again, but it's certainly going to take me a lot longer than it did the other 2 times to be like, yeah, I can believe in them. They're going to have to win a significant amount of matches and have a number of months of legitimacy before I'm going to say, okay, maybe the Wyatt family are going to get that push. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I think they're going to go down as another group or another, faction, whatever we want to call them, that just never got to the level they could have gotten to. And it's mainly because they never win the fucking matches that they need to win in order to be taken seriously.
Well, I mean, at least they're not alone, because not only did they not reach their potential. Neither did Roman Reigns or Dean Ambrose or Cesaro or anyone. So, at least, whatever's good for Roman Reigns must be good for Bray Wyatt, because he's not anything either at the end of this show.
Okay.
There's no main eventers. They're all dead. They're all gone.
Anything more to say about the main event of the show? Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, or Mohawk?
There's no main eventers. That's all there is to say, because they went into this match as two mid-carders, and they had the chance to emerge as two main eventers. If something just happened, anything, it doesn't matter what it was, just some sort of swerve. Give me heel turn from Ambrose or Reigns, it doesn't matter. But they went with the most generic ending they could possibly go with, that built and established nothing. It made Reigns fall flat, because now he's a champion that no one gives a shit about, because he already lost his title, just like every other first-time world champion that ever comes around these days. Yeah, actually, can you guys name a first-time world champion that doesn't win as a result of this?
This was his first.
Yeah, and then now it's ruined by this dumbass, stupid cash-in, just like a bunch of other ones have been.
The realization for Jay has just come in full circle here. He's now just, everything is coming back to him. Like, wait a minute, it's his first win. It's his first title. And now the disappointment is here.
The money
You know what, guys?
Go ahead.
I actually recorded myself while I was watching. I don't know if you guys saw the GIF that I posted on Twitter.
I saw it.
I'm going to go look at it right now.
I have a full recording of myself watching this match, and I don't know, like, here's the thing. If you guys go and retweet the link to this episode of PWF Empire Live, and it hits like a certain quota of retweets, then I will post the video of myself watching Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose and Sheamus cashing in. So go ahead and let me see what the tweet says.
Please retweet this.
It says, PWF Empire is live with our Survivor Series review. Retweet that, and if it hits like a certain number, then you know what? I'll post that video. So,
yes.
But
I just watched it. It's funny.
I was gonna tell you guys what I was saying, but if you want to see it, go retweet that. But I don't have really much more to say about this. WWE has ruined, and I say I don't have much more to say, but I'm about to say.
But you're about to go on and on.
Ruins everything.
Yes, they've ruined everything.
Nobody came out looking good.
They ruined Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose, the first match. They ruined Roman Reigns' first championship. They ruined the prospects of all of the potential that the WWE World Heavyweight Championship tournament had. Like, this is literally the worst possible option that they could have gone with.
I'm just appalled because, like, with the ratings down, you gotta stir up something, like, and this is what they go with. Like, this is just a sign, and I know I didn't need another one because we've had so many, but this is just a sign that Vince McMahon he shouldn't be in creative control anymore. He shouldn't. And I don't know if that can be solved, because I don't see this guy going away anytime soon. Like, he's not going to voluntarily give up. He's not in any danger. The company is not in jeopardy. It just has to do with, does he have any pride in his product, which he doesn't seem to. I think he books it for himself, and he must enjoy whatever the hell is going on, because otherwise he wouldn't approve it.
Well, I think he's quite complacent, too. I think he's kind of just set in his ways, and it's like, whatever, at this rate. It's status quo. And we've already talked about how the status quo is ridiculous, and we need to break that, and things need to severely change in this company. But the status quo is continuing to be what we get. And the funniest part about that is, like, as I say it's status quo, it just makes me kind of, like, shake my head. It's status quo for there to be a cash in, a Money in the Bank cash in. Like, you're not, it isn't a surprise factor anymore.
Remember when that was like novelty as fuck? Like when Edge did that, it was like, holy shit, what the hell?
Yes. Even when CM Punk did it in 2008, it was like, oh,
it
whoa.
still had something back then.
Exactly, it sure
look,
did.
That thing has been a cancer since the beginning. I'm tempted to go down the list of first-time world champions and find how many of them have been a result of some Money in the Bank nonsense, because I'm willing to bet it's all but maybe two, and I think maybe those two would be Sheamus, who won in a with the stupid push down a table, and
it was Randy Orton didn't win his first title, but
but that was a while ago.
He cashed in on Bryan, who that was his first title, or wasn't his first world title.
I'll even give that one a pass, because that was actually to me that was a good booking decision.
It was, yeah, and that's why I mentioned that earlier in the show. Honestly, when that happened, I was actually ready to watch Raw the next night, because it was the start of it was the start of a new angle. You're like, all right, here we go with something. This didn't do that for me. This just plain and simple was one of those things where it's like you had a big feeling it was gonna happen, and then they actually went that way. And it's honestly, I didn't mark out at all when it happened, anger. I didn't throw anything. I just sat there and shrugged my shoulders. I'm like,
that's kind of how I reacted to it.
Yeah, I'm like, I knew that was fucking coming. That's what I said on Monday. I just felt it. You could feel it. It's like they just had to go down that route for whatever reason. They always feel the necessity to do that. Even though here you could have just had a good Roman Reigns championship win. But the match itself of Ambrose and Reigns kind of did get hurt a lot by that sudden finish. It made it that much more clear that they were going to do something to finish the night. I will say, though, again, I said it earlier, and I will reiterate that I loved the spear from Reigns to Triple H. That would have been an awesome way to finish the show, because then you would have had Triple H as pissed off as all hell opening up Raw the next night. It could have done something. There could have been something there with that, and that would have been a much more effective way to finish it, because that was just a huge fuck you from Reigns to Triple H. I love that. That was an excellent moment. Just finish the show there, and we're good.
That was cool. But that's not. But yeah, everyone looks like a bitch on this show. Everyone does. Ambrose looks like a bitch because, well, I wouldn't say he looks like a bitch, but he kind of just looks definitively inferior, because he lost like a whistle, squeaky clean, and then he just kind of said congratulations. It just looks like this guy is just perpetually Roman Reigns' best friend now.
Yeah, so exactly.
He looks
There's
like
nothing.
A bitch. Reigns looked like a bitch.
There's just bitches, bitches everywhere.
Yeah, there's just no.
Yeah, and it just doesn't feel like there's any ladder to climb for a lot of these guys. And with Roman Reigns now, there's going to be this he's going to work his way back to the title story.
Well, he's going to win it back next month. I'm almost
sure. Yeah. I can see him winning it back, whether it's then or within these next couple of months, regardless. But I think to myself, man, why did we have to go? Why can't he just win this? Why can't we ever see somebody just have a goddamn moment for once? There's no moments anymore. It's always, the moment got ruined. Now it's status quo for the moment to get ruined, and that is just so overdone nowadays.
Yeah, I remember Michael Cole or someone today, right when he speared Triple H, someone said, "This is Roman Reigns' career moment now." His career moment so far was losing to Brock Lesnar, and that's not even a diss on him. It's just this moment was shit. When the confetti came down, I didn't care. I really didn't. Did it feel like a big win to you guys? Because it didn't to me. When Bryan won, that felt like holy shit. At WrestleMania when he finally got it, that felt like a confetti moment. This felt like okay. Yeah.
See, the thing is, I got it, like I said earlier, I got a sense from the match that something else was going to happen. I could not even enjoy Roman Reigns winning the championship because I was waiting on the other shoe to drop. And it wasn't even a fucking shoe that dropped. It was a fucking anvil right on my head.
It's also kind of dumb because, if you're Reigns, aren't you thinking, this is going to happen? Shouldn't you just... I said to my friend, should he book it at this point before fucking Sheamus comes down?
Now, see, here's the thing, because people were calling Roman Reigns dumb for not accepting Triple H's offer. Shit, he's dumb here. I would have been perfectly fine, if Roman Reigns ran off You know, you call him a bitch, whatever you want to, but you're gonna call him champion bitch. That's what you're gonna call him.
Oh man, you know.
Like, go ahead, Evan.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, it would have been so much. Like, at least if he would have beaten Sheamus, it would have looked like this guy's kind of a badass. Like, he just went through 2 matches and he's still like, fuck this guy up, even though this guy has no credibility. But he got punked out by this mid-carder, which is saying something, because Reigns is also a mid-carder, and I really hate to say that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, in one way, I will say that, Ambrose and Reigns isn't exactly a match, considering they're both at that, well, especially Ambrose, is at that level of not legit to be a world champion. So that win wasn't going to have the same feeling as like a Daniel Bryan win, because Bryan was beating, Randy Orton and Batista, 2 guys who had been champions several times. And then even if we go back to Bryan, when he won in 2013, he beat John Cena. So, like, regardless, Bryan's wins felt like huge deals because of that. And even you could even say that about when Seth Rollins, cashed in and won earlier this year. He was cashing in. Yes, he did pin Roman Reigns, but Brock Lesnar was the other guy in that match, so there was still somebody there. It's not to say that Reigns versus Ambrose isn't somebody being there, but that win isn't going to be as big of a deal no matter how you slice it. Obviously, the way it was booked was the reason why it didn't feel like a confetti moment, but I think even if the match went on another 10 minutes, you're still going to say to yourself, well, that was kind of a lateral win. Like, it's not
yeah, absolutely. Because there was nothing happened. If it's just... Because if you want a lateral win, that's fine, but you need someone to beat, and like you said, Ambrose is not anyone to beat. I mean, he's not the least credible guy, but he's nowhere near credible enough to say, okay, this was... Like, in no situation can you imagine beating Dean Ambrose would justify giving you the world title, except for as the result of a tournament. So, they had to do a swerve here, and they didn't, so that just ruined it.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to this review of Survivor Series. Some really quick overall thoughts on the show.
Shit.
Okay, that was pretty quick. Evan?
It wasn't all bad, but
yeah, it was.
It wasn't.
Okay, well, I didn't see the whole
bad.
thing. I saw barely any of it.
Yeah.
But, like, all I could say is the last match, it overshadows anything that could have been good about this. I might actually go back and watch Ambrose versus Owens, because I wanted to see that, and the network was crapping out on me.
Yeah, this was a match
worth
that
a rewatch.
Oh yeah, that one actually is worth rewatching, no doubt. So that's, again, pretty much what I'm saying, is that it wasn't all completely bad, but this was not a good Survivor Series. I wouldn't put it in a category of, like, Survivor Series for the last number of years hasn't really felt like a big 4. That's out of the 4, it's clearly the weakest one, but I would not consider this to have been a very good one. This show had moments that were decent. Again, like, some of these matches were okay, but you had a completely random, out of left field 5-on-5 match. The Divas match was underwhelming. The 2 semifinal matches were decent in the ring, especially Owens and Ambrose. That was actually quite a solid match. Ziggler and Breeze was kind of forgettable. And was there another match in there that I forgot besides the main event? Undertaker's match with the Wyatts. It felt like a nice kind of finale for Undertaker, or like leading into the final act for Undertaker. And seeing all his moments thrown out there in front of us was really cool. But it didn't do anything besides that for me. The match quality wasn't... It was something like Steven said earlier, like you would see on a house show, and all it did was just further prove that the Wyatts can't be taken seriously, and then you got the travesty of the ending of the night, and there's really no other way to say it but that it was a travesty finish. It was blah, it was crap, it was the worst route they could have gone down, although it was the one I thought they were going to go down, because my faith, I know there's the famous quote, I find your lack of faith disturbing. Well,
I get that now. I've seen Star Wars.
You have.
I love that
you have.
quote.
That's good, Jay. Very good. Very good. Yes, it's a great.
I'm gonna go watch the Star Wars prequels now, because that'll be a lot better writing.
Well, shots fired. Man.
Oh, man. But our lack of faith is disturbing, but their storytelling or lack thereof is the most disturbing because there's really no reason to have that faith. And it is kind of crazy because I have that little faith in the company that I already felt that they were going to go down this route. There was no doubt in my mind that this was the way they were going to do this damn show. And that's the sad part. So,
WWE likes to say, you remember when Vince said, I forgot what the context was, but he was like, we tell stories here. I don't think Vince McMahon has ever like experienced a story before. I can't imagine this guy watching like good TV or good movies, because if he did, he'd be like, "Oh shit, is that how you do it? Like there's a beginning, middle, and end, like with dramatic tension, and you know." Anyway,
so here's the thing. This is a phrase that I use very frequently with NXT, which I would like to remind you guys at this point is WWE's developmental territory. Because the NXT knows how to do this. They know how to put on a good show, give you payoffs to the stories that they tell, and also give you something to look forward to. 3 basic tenets of professional wrestling. Give you a payoff, give you an entertaining show, and give you something to look forward to. Survivor Series didn't do any of that tonight. And that's my review of the show. That's that. So thank you guys for tuning into.
Yes, sir.
Thank
That's
you all
exactly
for tuning
right.
into PWF Empire Live. We'll be back next week, or actually this week, Tuesday. I love saying that. At 9 p.m. Eastern on PWFempire.com and YouTube.com/PWF Empire. We have some exciting stuff coming for that show. We have a new segment that's going to be debuting called the Kayfabe Tier List, which is headed up by Steven. And if you all are regular readers of the wrestling Reddit, what is it called? Squared Circle.
Squared Circle, yeah.
Yeah, Squared Circle, the Kayfabe Tier List. You may not know that that is actually created by our very own Steven, and we'll be bringing that on to PWF Empire Live next week, along with having a conversation about the New Day. They recently passed over their 1-year anniversary in WWE, so we're going to be putting them in the superstar spotlight and asking the question and answering, is New Day too over? It may seem like a weird question now, but tune in to PWF Empire Live and we'll get down to the bottom of it. On behalf of my 2 co-hosts, Evan and Steven, thank you all for tuning in to this therapy session. PWF Empire Live, I'd like to think that we're all a little bit more okay with what happened tonight, but I don't know, maybe I'll go break some shit. Who knows? But I guess you guys will see. If this, I already broke the glass here. There's actually not any glass on this one. I did that on accident, but maybe that one will be on purpose after the show is over. Yeah, especially you. It's all your fucking fault. Peace out.